So the Grammys, the 2025 Grammys for Album of the Year, um, you could almost put all these albums in a bag and shake them up, and they all could win. There's one album I think that deserves to win. But there's a couple others that might surprise. So let's start from the beginning. André 3000, 3 stacks with his New Blue Sun album, the Flute album. I don't think it's gonna win. It's a very experimental album. But the one thing I appreciate is that André is a true artist. He said, I don't want to rap anymore. I don't feel like I have anything to rap about, but I love playing this flute. And he made an album based around his flute. And yes, do I wish André was rapping? Absolutely. I miss André. André has not put out an album since Outkast Speaker Box The Love Below. And that's like 20 years. So it's like, I miss Dre. But I appreciate Dre for saying like, that's not who I am anymore. I have a different way of expressing myself. And I hope this creates a new paradigm in hip hop where it says like, hey man, if you want to play the flute, play the guitar, play the drums, sing, like do whatever you want. Hip hop should not be one thing, but I don't think he'll win. But I love the fact that Dre is nominated because that means Dre's going to be at the Grammys. And I love seeing Dre. Beyonce's Cowboy Carter should win. Cowboy Carter is a good album. I feel like it's a stronger album than her last album. It's a focused album. It's her take of country music. It's weird when people say, "Oh, this album wasn't good." No, it's a good album. Like I don't know how you can hear a song like Two Most Wanted with her and Miley Cyrus, and feel like that's not a good album. It's a really solid album, and compared to most country albums today, most country artists, especially the ones you hear on the radio, it's the same stuff over and over and over again. It's almost like she was doing new country. And listen, Beyonce deserved that Grammy for Lemonade. They didn't give it to her. They gave it to Adele. Even Adele was like, come on now. And I thought they was going to give it to her a couple of years ago. They didn't do it. So come on, man. She's won the most, she's won the most Grammys. She's the most nominated artist ever. She has won the most Grammys ever. At a certain point, like Jay-Z said, like, how is it that she hasn't won Album of the Year? They've given Taylor Swift all these albums of the year, and Beyonce doesn't have one. So Cowboy Carter is a really, really good album. The only people who don't seem to like it, country music doesn't play it, but then country music, they just went ahead and played Post Malone. Like Post Malone was almost like, welcome Post Malone. Post Malone never made a country album in his life. And he puts out this country album, which sounds like anything else you hear in country, which is very smart on his end. Welcome with open arms. You got tattooed on your face. You got Morgan Wallen. Welcome. Jelly Roll, even though Jelly Roll's a really good singer, but still, Jelly Roll was a rapper too. You got two white dudes who were rappers at one point, and it was welcome with open arms in country music. And Beyonce actually, from the South, made a country album because she grew up in it. And it's like, oh, no, you're not country. It's just, she grew up in the South. But I digress. So yeah, I think Cowboy Carter should win, but will it? We'll come to that in a second. Sabrina Carpenter, short and sweet. She is short and sweet. I do enjoy that pocket pop princess, Sabrina Carpenter. She's had a good year of espresso and please, please, please. Mr. Kino, who's playing the Joker in the Batman 2. That's her dude. Good score, my man. But yeah, I like Sabrina Carpenter. It was I remember her Girl Meets World. It's a slow climb for her because she just switched after Girl Meets World was canceled. She really got into her music bag, and it took a while, but she finally broke through this year. It's weird that she was also nominated for Best New Artist because she's been around for quite a few years, at least for the past 4 or 5 years as an artist. So not sure about that. I think Chappell Roan will probably beat her for Best New Artist, but that's a different video. So even though I love a Sabrina Carpenter, I don't think she's going to win. Charli XCX. I miss Charli XCX. Charli XCX is really very pretty. I like seeing her perform. She's a really good songwriter. But it seemed like in recent albums, it seemed like she just couldn't find a hit. Like she couldn't. There was like a connection that wasn't happening when she would put out these albums and. You know, she put her heart and soul into it and just wouldn't connect. But Brat connected. So I don't know if Brat would win because a lot of people, the whole Brat thing became a thing. But I don't think that's a thing that's enough to propel it to win Album of the Year. But I'm glad that she's back. I get to Jacob Collier. I'm going to come back to him. I got a whole thing with him. I'll come back to him. Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft. Good album. But Billie's won a ton of awards already. Man, she got like 2 Oscars, and Record of the Year, Song of the Year. She's won a lot already. And I feel like for someone like Beyonce, who still hasn't won that big award, I think it's Beyonce's time. If Billie Eilish wins this award, then I think she'll probably take over for Taylor Swift, that whenever she puts out an album, they're going to give her Album of the Year. I have this weird feeling about that. Even though Billie Eilish is talented, I just feel like I don't want a Taylor 2.0 where you're going to start just giving her the awards because you're going to stop giving Taylor these awards. Chappell Roan has a chance of winning, but she's new. It's like there's a lot of women who made great first albums who didn't win. The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess is probably one of the best album titles I've heard in a while. She was great on SNL. She's a really talented singer, really good backstory. She has this whole LGBTQ plus story going on. She loves transvestites and all that stuff. She loves dressing up like transvestites. So it's a whole thing there. So from a cultural standpoint, I could actually see her beat out Beyonce because she's representing everything that they like in popular culture right now. And she's talented, but does she deserve it? No. If she's as talented as they think she is, she'll have a shot down the road. In fact, I feel like she can. I think she could actually make a better album because I think she has that type of talent. But if Beyonce loses, the third person I think who can win this is Chappell Roan. And Taylor Swift, Tortured Poets Society, shouldn't even be nominated. Of all the albums she's released in recent years, this album was her least critically acclaimed. When it came to 2024, the biggest stories were the Eras Tour, her and Travis Kelce, and then this Tortured Poets Department. Yeah, she got the song with Post Malone, and that's up for Song and Record of the Year. I hope that doesn't win. It's okay. It's an okay song, but nothing great. But enough already. Like, enough of Taylor Swift and Albums of the Year. I will die on this hill that I think she's very overrated. I think she's not the best singer of her generation. She's not the best writer. She's an okay writer. But I don't think she's the best writer of her generation. But I think she's fine. But I just think her talent has been completely overblown these past 10 years. Does she have her fans? Absolutely. Is she a successful artist? Yeah. Is she the Madonna and the Michael Jackson of her era? Absolutely. Is she better than Madonna and Michael Jackson? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If we rank the top pop artists of the eras, she's not in the top 10. She'll be in the top 20, not in the top 10. Overrated album. Shouldn't be here. But it's there, been fine, but she shouldn't win. Now, Jacob Collier. Jacob Collier could be the Arcade Fire to Katy Perry's Teenage Dream. He could be the Steely Dan to Eminem's Marshall Mathers. He could be Ray Charles passing away and beating out Green Day's America's Idiot and Kanye West's The College Dropout. All those artists that I mentioned beat out those albums. Every so often, the Grammys does this crazy thing like they did with John Baptiste a couple of years ago, where for some out of the blue, they just give an album of the year to a person or a group that people weren't even thinking about. And I think Jacob Collier is the same thing. Jacob Collier has been around for a long time. Very talented instrumentalist. Very talented very, really good singer. Even though he has a song that reminds me of Kirk Franklin. I can't remember what the song is, but it reminds me of Kirk Franklin. But yeah, he seems like a guy, even though Beyonce is sitting there with Cowboy Carter, he seems like a dude with a Grammy. He's like, let's do this. And they give Album of the Year to Jacob Collier. Now, again, he's been out for a long time. He's a very talented guy. But man, of all the albums, if Cowboy Carter does not win, Jacob Collier might be one of those people that all of a sudden wins that Album of the Year, and people are saying like, who? What album? How? I just got that feeling. So if it's not Chappell Roan, and it's not Jacob Collier, Beyonce should win because she's old. But I'm telling you, the Grammys do this stupid, crazy thing every so often, every few years. And Jacob Collier fits that. So who do you think, out of this list of people, who do you think is going to win Album of the Year? I think it's Beyonce. What say you?